Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.
Hello, and welcome to Getting Clear on Psoriasis. This season, we bring you stories about people living with a form of psoriasis called Generalized Pustular Psoriasis, also known as GPP. We aim to help people with GPP improve their overall quality of life and well-being through discussions on mental health, tips for managing personal and professional relationships, and guidance on self-care. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be substituted for medical advice. Please consult a medical professional with any questions regarding a medical condition, advice, diagnosis, or treatment. In this episode, I'm joined by Heather, who lives with GPP, and her care partner Dalton, to share their experiences of managing personal relationships, social life, and work when it comes to GPP. Thank you both so much for joining us today to talk about your experiences with GPP. I'm really excited to dive into this conversation, but before we do, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, I'm 41, have 3 children with my fabulous husband, and our children are 16, 11, and 7. I run after our children constantly. I homeschool them, so they are definitely a full-time job. I have had GPP since I was 17, so you can do the math. It's been a few years.
Absolutely, yes, it has. And Dalton, what's your relationship to Heather? She's your wife, isn't she?
She sure is.
And how long have you been married?
8 years.
Perfect. And how many years has it been since you learned of Heather's diagnosis of GPP?
Better than 8 years, but I'd say probably 9 or 10. It was very early in our relationship when she, told me she had psoriasis, what she called it. I didn't learn about the actual GPP full term till, later on.
Let's talk a little bit about what life is like for both of you living with GPP and what your journey getting to the diagnosis was. Heather, was that a fast track for you, or did it take quite a while to get the proper diagnosis?
It didn't take as long as for some people that I have heard, but it was quite an interesting journey in the beginning. I was 17 and I had sores all over me from head to toe. I was literally covered and I was so dizzy. And so my grandparents got me in with their dermatologist and I went there. And he said he needed to do a biopsy. And 2 weeks later, I went back and got the results. My dad went with me to that appointment. And it was a whirlwind of words. And so I didn't catch everything because it was a lot. And we left with brochures.
GPP is a lifelong, unpredictable condition. How did it impact on your plans for the future at the age of 17? What did you think?
Yeah, at 17, it was a lot. And it was a lot that I guess I wasn't ready for. And as I got older, the more years that went by, the more symptoms came along with it. And that's when it all started to click. Oh, okay, now it all makes sense.
So what role has Dalton played in supporting and helping you throughout this? How has he best been able to support you?
He's been a trooper, especially when it's kind of the unknown for him and me, because you never, even though you don't know how bad it's going to be next year. You don't know how bad it's going to be 5 years from now. But he's been my rock. Days that literally I can't walk anymore, he picks me up and carries me. I mean, he has literally been everything. Days that I have to stay in the bed, he's just like, it's okay, stay in the bed. I've got it. And he does.
It sounds like you've got a tremendous communication between the two of you. Has that strengthened over time?
Some days our communication is everything. But just like in any marriage, there's some days that communication is not everything. But I would say for me to be so chronically ill he is amazing, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
So have you actively taken the role of educating yourself about GPP?
Yes, I have had to become an advocate when it comes to my health in general, when it comes to GPP and everything else.
Right. And for people who perhaps have just been newly diagnosed, what resources would you recommend to somebody who wants to educate themselves?
So definitely medical conferences are huge, like the psoriasis conferences that you can attend virtually and not have to go in person. Those are huge. And then like a GPP and Me, this is like an amazing concept. And Facebook support groups, those are a great way to connect with other people that are going through the same thing that you are, and just to be able to connect with them and shoot ideas back and forth and how you're able to cope and get by. That's been a huge help, all in all.
You've shared that you have 3 lovely children. What kind of impact has GPP had on your family?
Everything goes in a calendar. Everything is pretty well planned, because I have good days and I have bad days, and you have to plan accordingly. Like, I can't overdo it, because if I overdo it, I'm going to pay for it, and then I'm going to have 2 bad days. Everybody has to put everything in the calendar. That way there's no like, hey, mom is going to be out for 4 days in a row, because if mom's out for 4 days in a row, then mom's going to be no good. But like, I just have to plan everything out, and it's got to be prioritized.
Do you find that you have to alter your diet at all with GPP?
Yes, between GPP and all the things that come along with GPP, as the years have progressed, it has definitely minimized what I'm able to eat and drink, for that matter.
Dalton, what impact has GPP had on your life and your life with Heather? Have you got enough experience enough now to know when she's going to get a flare and the best way to support her?
Yeah, I don't know that I could predict it to say, but there are signs. She's very strong-willed woman and will, push herself to accomplish whatever, goal she has set for the family, or like I said, an outing or what have you. And then next day or two, it's very much so a rest day for her.
And the 2 of you together, what do you think are the key lessons that you've learned about keeping your relationship loving and strong and durable while living with this chronic rare disease of GPP?
Dating. Yeah. Making sure that we still date, making sure that we still take time. We still make sure that we watch an episode of something in the bed every night before bedtime. Once the kids are in their rooms, we still watch an episode and have our time every night, and try to make time for our date night at least once a month to have our time.
You agree, Dalton, of course.
I do. So I will add just a flexibility, in plans. Let's say whenever a flare-up does occur and that's, it's time to lay down and rest, then we all kind of lay down and rest together and just be able to spend that time together. It's not all right, well, you go shut yourself in your room and, quarantine. It's not, you're not sick, it's, we're in this together. So yeah, there's tasks, household chores that still have to be accomplished, but I feel like we still take the time to kind of sit down together and rest together and spend time with each other.
Now, obviously, you live in a community. I'm just wondering what the community knows about your GPP. Is it something that you openly share with them? Do you share your story with other people?
So I have a couple close friends that know the ins and outs of all the illness stuff, everything going on. But for the most part, no, because when you look fine on the outside, they don't really get it when you don't feel well. And so they'll look at you and be like, oh, but you look okay. But I try to share, like on social media, and I'll share stuff from other people and from psoriasis and from all the other websites, just to let people know it's not all on the out,
We've talked quite a lot about the family life, the social life, the impact on your activities, the fact that you have to keep a well-detailed calendar so that everybody knows what the week looks like, and sometimes it can look very different when that week comes. But what about your working life? You say that your children take up all of your time and you homeschool them. What about you, Dalton? How does that work for you?
I do have a career job in which I work. And so most of the time by the end of day when I come home, all the homeschooling is complete. And, I'll ask the kids, what did you learn today? Simple, I guess, dad stuff about school.
Heather, you have to be very well organised, don't you, in terms of when you need to rest, managing your energy levels. That's an awful lot to take on board when you've got 3 children at home.
We've got a good system here. My oldest she does her own thing, and she's actually going to be starting college next year. So she's very independent and doesn't need really any help at all. The younger 2 are a completely different story. They are very easy when it comes to, hey, mom's having a bad day and it's all going to be done here in the bed today. And they're like, okay, cool. So it's very easy when it comes to that. Or, hey, today you're going to learn from YouTube shows. They're cool. So not as bad. Yeah, not as bad as what it might seem.
I'm wondering, have you noticed any kind of stigma, the 2 of you? Either you, Dalton, at work when you might mention your wife, or Heather when you're out and about. Has GPP caused other people to stigmatise you in any way or not?
I don't know if I would say just GPP in general, but I would say like chronic illness in and of itself. The way people look at you is definitely different.
Yeah. And Dalton, do you want to add anything to that?
Sure. I don't feel like we've caught stigma over it socially. I think it's more or less they just don't understand, hey, why they didn't show up to the gathering, today, if it was a bad day, or, and then like, for example, you asked me the question at work, if it's a bad day and we got a lot going on and I'll have to take the day off, call in and say, hey, I'm not gonna be there today, and take care of the family. They don't stigmatize that, so to speak. When they ask a question, like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? I said, well, I had to take my wife to the doctor. But if they want to learn more about it, then I'll tell them some more stuff.
Sure. Now, you mentioned doctors there, and I'm just wondering what kind of a relationship, Heather, you have with your doctor.
So I have multiple doctors, but my dermatologist, I have a good relationship with him, rotated through many to get to the right team over time. And it has taken a lot of years to get to the team that I have, because with GPP, you end up needing not just a dermatologist when it starts to affect so many different organs in your body.
Well, thank you, both of you. Thank you very much. We've spoken about a lot of topics today. We've really delved into some very deep stuff. I'm just wondering, as we come to a close, if there are any other insights you would like to share with somebody living with GPP because you've both got so much experience. What would you like to tell others? What insights do you have?
Find your people, find your support groups. Don't give up hope.
Dalton?
I'd say just listen, to your partner who is experiencing GPP and going through that struggle. A lot of people are quick to discount a illness because from the outside, sometimes, when it's not a flare up, you look fine, there's nothing wrong with you. But listen, try to understand, empathize, and just be there to support. Let them know, we're in this together, and I'll do whatever I can to help you.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing your knowledge, your experiences with us. It's been enormously helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Getting Clear on Psoriasis. We hope this episode helps people with GPP improve their overall quality of life and well-being. If you like what you've heard, be sure to rate our podcast, write a positive review, and spread the word by sharing with your family and friends. It'll help more people like you find us. If you have any questions, thoughts, or suggestions for us, you can send us an email at podcast@ghlf.org. This podcast was produced on behalf of Boehringer Ingelheim and distributed by the Global Healthy Living Foundation. Please visit the Boehringer Ingelheim GPP patient website for more information.
Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.